Mark Anthony Pena.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Cindy Reed with Derek Rich's office.
Yes.
Judge, we filed a
Where's your
motion-
client?
He's here, right there, standing up.
Oh, he needs to come forward. Come forward. All right, we're going to go on the record. I need everyone to please be quiet in the box. Court is calling 2023 CR 0037, State of Texas versus Mark Anthony Pena. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
Defense?
Sydney Reed for the defense.
All right, and are you Mr. Pena?
Yes.
All right, so the attorney listed is Derek Ritchie.
Yes, I work for Mr. Ritchie.
All right, any objections to this attorney standing in for Mr. Ritchie, state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Pena, do you have any objection?
I haven't had any contact with them.
All right, my question is, do you have any objection to her standing in for Mr. Ritchie, or do you want Mr. Ritchie here? If you want Mr. Ritchie here, then Mr. Ritchie will be coming here. So that's my question to you.
Yeah, prefer Mr. Ritchie.
All right, let's bring Mr. Ritchie in.
Mr. Ritchie has three CPS hearings this morning. He's not available, which is why I'm standing in. He can come in later this morning, but it won't be until after 11.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Court is calling 2023 CR 0037, State of Texas versus Mark Anthony Pena. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
I believe this is a family violence case, is that what?
Yes.
Anna Ochoa Nelson for the state judge.
Defense?
Derek Ritchie, Mike Pena.
All right. So the defense has filed a motion to withdraw. Mr. Pena did not want to proceed without you being present, Mr. Ritchie. So, Mr. Pena, do you have objections to this motion to withdraw?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you going to hire an attorney?
One of the means to, I was trying to get a court appointment.
All right. The court will grant the motion to withdraw. Mr. Ritchie, you're excused.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Ms. Ferguson? I needed an attorney appointed for Mr. Pena. Just have a seat. We'll get you an attorney. Hey, I'm going in order that they're handed to me.
Judge, I don't know if it makes a difference. I just need time to get a mental health evaluation.
Okay, listen, sir. All right, who's here on Mark Pena and Mr. All right, so what is happening with this case?
The state's made an offer. We're considering it. We would like a little time.
Okay,
Discovery has been completed.
all right, so I need a discovery acknowledgement. All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a plea deadline date on Mr. Pena. Mr. Pena, how much time are you asking to consider this?
A month, sir. I mean, Your Honor.
A month, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a plea deadline date?
It will be April 24th, Judge.
All right, April 24th is your plea deadline date. After that, the court will not accept any plea bargain agreements without good cause. Otherwise, you have to plead open to the court. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mark Anthony Pena. All right. Court is calling 2023 CR 0037, State of Texas versus Mark Anthony Pena. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
Defense.
Callahan from defense.
All right, and are you Mr. Pena?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review that with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Pena, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. I think you're only eligible for deferred adjudication. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we are proceeding on count 2 and we'll waive the remaining counts. Count 2 is an aggravated sexual assault of a child.
Any objection?
No, Your.
All right, Mr. Pena, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand the state is proceeding on count 2, which is aggravated sexual assault of a child? That's a first-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to life in prison and up to $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, off the record for a moment. Counsel, you guys do not talk behind the court reporter, so that's okay. You can move to the end. We're back on the record. Did you understand that the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement? And if for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Pena, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 2. Punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 30 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. State opposes your application. There's to be compliance with Chapter 62 and no contact with the complainant. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes.
Showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offense and count 2 of aggravated sexual assault of a child. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty, Your Honor.
State any evidence?
And are we up for state's exhibit number 1 and all attachments?
Any objection? Mr. State, and you can, okay. Mr. Pena, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state would be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Could you mute me for a moment, please? I'm being told we can come back in 3 weeks. Is that good for you, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, if we can give me a date for 3 weeks, please. All right, so we'll be back on May 18th at 9 a.m.
Here.
All right, thank you. And probation will give you the information to contact, who he needs to talk to.
Oh, yes,
All
Your
right, and I'll make a decision on your application based upon the PSI report and any other information I receive.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Yeah. Okay. All right, if you come forward. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 0037, State of Texas versus Mark Anthony Pena. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Travis, thanks to the state of Texas.
Danny Callahan for defense.
All right, Mr. Pena, you entered a plea of guilty to count 2. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 30 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine, and the state is opposing your application. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any witnesses, state?
State has no witnesses, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, only allocution and letters and corroborative evidence of his physical health.
All right. State, do you have any evidence to present in the way of documents or no?
Nothing other than what's in the PSI, Your Honor.
All right. And so so both parties know, and I know you all are aware, I read the entirety of the PSI report. Defense, you have documents for the court to review?
This first one is from the defendant's mother, Your Honor.
Any objections, state?
No objections from the state, and the state has reviewed that.
Okay.
The second one is corroborating the PSI information regarding stage 4 kidney disease of the defendant.
All right.
Diagnosis is in the top right-hand corner of the documents.
All right, everyone, just give me a moment while I read the documents that have been presented. All right, the court has reviewed the documents presented by the defense. The court will hear argument.
Your Honor, considering his health, also considering my understanding that the complainant's present disposition was exhibited prior to the time that she ever met the defendant. She was that way.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Could everyone please whisper? I'm
She
sorry.
was that way before the defendant met her. Physical problems, the mental problems that she has, cutting herself, that existed long before the defendant was involved in her life. I suggest to the court respectfully that you give deferred adjudication 180 days in jail, particularly because of the lack of prior record and also stage 4. He's not going to live very much longer. And if he goes to prison, he won't get the treatment that he needs. That's all, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'll be brief, and as you've already read the PSI, I just want to point out that some of the language that he's using in his PSI amounts to him minimizing his guilt. He says that the allegations against him are exaggerated, that he just wants to move on with his life, and that he doesn't want it to seem like he doesn't care, which would imply that he doesn't care. He just doesn't want the court to realize that. But I would remind the court in his minimization of guilt that this is a case where the defendant's penis was a photo of the defendant's penis was found on the complaining witness's phone, and that it was eventually learned that the defendant got the complainant to give him oral sex and did have vaginal sex with the complainant starting on her birthday in 2020 when she was born in 2008. So she would have been 12 years old at that time. And the state is asking the court to consider that and sentencing the defendant and to meet the cap at 30 years. TBC.
All right. And is there anything you wish to say, Mr. Pena?
Your Honor,
If there's something you want to say, you're going to be subject to cross-examination.
I'm very nervous. I don't know what to say. I loved my family. As my attorney mentioned, these issues when I met April, she's 9 years old, and I don't want to speak bad of the character. I'm not trying to minimize anything, or I do care. I cared about them very much. I was in their lives since.
But I mean, here's the problem. The problem is you have a child, and you are engaging in inappropriate contact with the child, inappropriate sexual contact with the child. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor. I understand what was said. I understand.
You want to raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Mark, Antonio Pena.
All right. Counsel, do you wish for your client to testify, or you want to talk to him about testifying before?
No, Your
He
Honor,
subjects-
all I would ask the court to consider his allocution.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Pena, as I said before, if you wish to give testimony and tell me what I should do or what you think would be appropriate in this case, then you're going to subject yourself to cross-examination. So that means that the state will be allowed to ask questions of you. So do you wish to continue to speak to the court? I mean, it's up to you.
I do, but I don't want to. Not a very good public speaker or speaker.
Oh, nobody's a public. Let me just tell you, I don't hold it against people that they're not good public speakers. I'm just here to listen
Just often say.
and then make a decision on what's before me. So the fact that you're not a good public speaker is not something that I will hold against you.
Yes, I just mean I often say things the wrong way. I don't mean them.
So do you wish to speak or no? Mr. Kellen, he's looking towards you for advice.
And nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. All right, as previously stated, the court has reviewed the PSI report. The court has reviewed the documents that have been tendered to the court for review by the defense. The court is going to deny your application. The court will find you guilty. Does anyone wish to speak to the cap? The state is asking for 30 years.
I wish to respectfully suggest to the court 5 years, Your Honor, considering his lack of record, considering his poor health right now.
State, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, the state is asking for the full 30 years. The defendant is clearly not accepted his guilt in this case. He's in a serious denial and saying that the claims against him are exaggerated. And the court should assess the full sentence of 30 years.
May I address the court?
Yes.
He would like to make further allocution, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Well, Mr. Pena, just know that the court has already found you guilty. Again, if you wish to speak to the court, then you will be subjected to cross-examination. Do you wish to say something to the court?
I'm already come. We'll see. I can't. Nothing will change.
No, I'm not going to grant your application for deferred adjudication. All right. The court will find you guilty. There's to be Chapter 62 compliance, no contact with the complainant. I considered the health issues that counsel has spoken to me about. There's going to be a $1,500 fine, time and money will run concurrent. Court will sentence you to 25 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And also because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Pena, I want you to know that I considered the lack of criminal history. I considered the fact that you had been working, that you never stopped working, and I considered your health conditions, but I also have to weigh that against all evidence that's presented to me. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Let's get the facts straight. She loves a verbal ashtray. Never blowing smoke when she gets pissed. She's quick to castrate. Love her on a good day, love her on a bad day. Either way, she's here to stay.